You're listening to Crazy Shit in Real Estate. You'll be amazed at all these wild but true situations that others have found themselves in. Because on this show, you'll hear uncensored, unbelievable stories from the world of real estate. I'm Leigh Brown. Let's dive right in.
I'm Leigh Brown. This is Crazy Shit in Real Estate. Today, you're going to have to answer a question. Are you a dog wrangler or a dog hider? Because we're going to talk to Janet Johnson from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Sit back and enjoy the conversation. I'll see you on the other side. Sitting over here going, pardon me, boys. Is that the Chattanooga choo-choo?
Yep.
Because I can't hear or see the word Chattanooga and not have my head just turn into that song. How are you today?
I'm good. A little nervous, but I'm good.
Yeah, we're just going to chat a little bit about real estate. That's all.
Okay.
So tell my audience who Janet Johnson is. They already know you're in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Tell them how long you've been in real estate and a little bit of the background.
Well, I've been in real estate since 2002. Started in Madison, Wisconsin. And now I service the Chattanooga area, which includes Southeast Tennessee and Northwest Georgia.
So now, how did you come from Wisconsin to Tennessee? Were you chasing those lower income taxes, as in zero in Tennessee?
Well, that's always a pull, but no, it was grandchildren.
Oh, the best pull ever.
Absolutely.
I mean, I always wonder how people do it without their mama nearby. I could not have raised mine without having my mama 5 minutes away.
Right.
So now you've relocated your real estate business. You're near your grands. And of course, the part of Tennessee that you're in experienced quite a wild upheaval starting on September 26th in the evening when Helene came through. So did you personally experience any damage from the hurricane?
No, actually, it skipped our area. We were predicted to have winds up to 60 mile an hour and really got nothing.
But, I mean, Earth and Unicoi got dust hammered down there in the corner.
Yeah, it went north of us too. So,
so did you do any relief work after the storm? Was your church involved with anything, or have you talked to clients about it? What have you experienced on the Tennessee side?
Well, I'm a Girl Scout leader, and so we put together some bags for children.
Oh, very good.
With coloring books and games and things like that.
Well, now, how did you become a Girl Scout leader? Do you do the brownies or the full-on Girl Scouts, or what level?
We have a multi-level troop. The ones I work with are 4th and 5th grade juniors.
Oh.
And, actually, my granddaughter came home from school in 2nd grade and said, I want to be a Girl Scout. And I said, great, I'll do it with you. And she has since quit, and I'm still doing it.
That happens a lot in volunteer life because they say, but Janet, just one more year, we'll find somebody else. Yeah.
Oh, I enjoy it. We're going to be in North Carolina skiing tomorrow. So.
Oh, where are you going to ski?
Beach Mountain.
Oh, beach is fantastic. It's a great place for kids to ski.
It is.
And of course, we've had a colder and snowier winter than we're used to, so that should be some real snow in addition to the manufactured snow.
Right, and it should be decent weather. It's warmed up a little bit since earlier this week when it was so cold.
I mean, I like about one day under 20 degrees just so I can say it's been cold, but we've had way too many of them this year.
Dripping the faucets to make sure the pipes don't freeze and all that.
I mean, that's real estate life. We get to go check on vacant houses, and sometimes we forget our own is the problem.
Right.
So now, in your years of real estate, what would you say is the biggest difference between doing real estate in Wisconsin versus Tennessee?
A lot of it's in the advertising rules. In Wisconsin, it's a lot more lenient. You don't have to have the broker's phone number on everything. And both Georgia and Tennessee require that. So on any advertising.
Well, now that's kind of the opposite of what you expect because people act like everything in the South is all loosey-goosey, but as it turns out, Wisconsin that's riding the wind.
That's true.
So what else have you experienced? Are you working with a lot of people that are moving to the area from other states as they are seeking the big economic growth that we're seeing in Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina?
Yeah, we're seeing that for political reasons as well. So I've worked with people from Florida, from California, And then some of them are moving here for family.
So tell me about that political thing, because I've noticed this is increasing every year. There's more and more people that want to live near others that vote like them, which this didn't happen in my business 25 years ago like it does now. It's almost a common question. How does that come across, and at what point do they bring it up? Talk to us a little bit about how you navigate that as an agent, especially if they're seeking a political belief that's different than yours. How do you navigate that?
That happens all the time. I don't get into the details of the politics, but I'm feeling that a lot of reasons for the moving here is less regulation.
Okay. Well, that's policy that more than politics, and I think people conflate the two quite often. Wouldn't you agree?
Right, right. And then, of course, the cost of living from California, from New York, from Chicago. Yeah,
Oh, it's so much cheaper. I always love it when they're surprised by what their money will buy in North Carolina versus New York. But the challenge that we experience, of course, is that drives up the cost of living for the locals, and it makes it
right.
hard for grandchildren to live near grandma in their home county. So there's definitely a tightrope we walk when it comes to growth and development and relocation. But people want to come.
Absolutely.
That's great. And we love where we live.
Yeah. But it also means that, you get paid less because the house prices are lower.
All right. We also pay less at the grocery store and in property
That's
tax.
right.
Rate balancing is something that I think realtors have a unique grasp on, that balancing, because we live it ourselves at home and then we live it through our clients as well.
Right. But it all balances out.
So now in your time in real estate, and you're approaching the silver anniversary here. So you've got 2 years away from planning a big marketing spread. And that reminds me, I need to do mine because this is my 25th year and I haven't planned anything out yet because life just kind of runs wild sometimes. But in
Yep.
those 23 years that you've been a practicing realtor, I love to know what has happened in your career that you still can't believe you encountered it, or you couldn't wait to get home and say, y'all are not going to believe what happened in my real estate life today.
Right. Well, I think most agents who've been in the business this long have had several situations. And so I've kind of thought through and thought of one that in retrospect was funny.
I mean,
But
that's a lot
at
of
the
life,
time,
isn't it?
it was
Janet?
very stressful.
That's kind of like childbirth. You forget how awful it was when you go to have another one.
Right. Otherwise, you wouldn't have another one.
So tell us about that story you can think of. And obviously,
Okay.
our brains block out the bulk of them, but there's always one that we come back to.
Right. This actually is a fairly recent one. So it was here in Tennessee, and I had a client moving from California, and she and a friend were driving this way. It took them 4 days on the road with 2 dogs and 3 cats and
Oh,
hauling a U-Haul.
that
So
sounds terrible, just for the record.
yeah, obviously it was hard to figure out exactly when they would arrive and to have the closing. So they pre-signed everything, and so did the sellers. And so they were on the road, and then we decided to do the final walkthrough by Zoom. So once they were settled in the motel for the evening, I went over there, and luckily this was summertime, so it was still light out. And I got to the house. It was up on a hill, probably about an acre of land, part of it wooded and part of it not. And it had a detached garage. So I got out of the car and got them on my Zoom and said, okay, let's start here with the garage. So I walked in the passenger door and said, wow, there's a lot of boxes in here that they're going to have to move out. And all of a sudden, 2 big dogs came running out past me and got out. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to be responsible for 2 dogs getting out in the road and getting hit by a car. So, of course, I couldn't entice them to come to me. They didn't have collars on either. So I couldn't grab a collar and pull them back in. So as I walked up to the house, they had a deck with a railing. And so both of them followed me up onto the deck. So I thought, aha, I'll take this circular table and roll it over where the steps are and trap them on the porch. And one of them followed me into the house. I thought, oh, wow, I hope this is an indoor dog. But anyway, and then it followed me back out. And in the meantime, the one dog that had still been on the porch had gotten out because the spindles were far enough apart. So I ended up chasing them around and actually hugging them and dragging them back into the garage one at a time and shut the door. But in the meantime, my poor buyer was on the other side of my phone trying to witness all this. And of course,
They forgot about somebody being on
my phone down. So I think I worked up a sweat. But when I got home, I was just shaking. It was so scary that those dogs I was not going to be able to get them back in.
So if you're in real estate and you're listening to this podcast or watching it and thinking, man, I need some more Leigh Brown answers in my life. Well, guess what, friends? I have a new program that is launching right now called Answers.Real-Estate, where I will give you every bit of insight I have to help you grow your real estate business, help you better respond to consumers, to provide a more excellent real estate experience so that the next time you land on crazy shit in real estate, you'll have a better solution to whatever you ran into. Answers.Real-Estate. There are monthly plans available. You will love it. Get your coaching. Sign up with me today.
But wait, I would be the one scared of the dogs. I would have been in the car, panicked that there were dogs running around, and here you are grabbing them and taking one in the house. And I'm a dog person, Janet, and I'm obviously a person who's sitting here thinking, I'm not messing with somebody's dogs.
Yeah, it turned out okay. I guess I don't have a healthy fear of dogs like I should.
At all. You don't have any fear, it sounds like. So how much were your clients laughing on the other end? I'd forgotten they were on Zoom as I'm picturing you trapping the dog with a round table.
I don't know. I'm sure they were enjoying themselves.
They recorded the whole thing. They're like, this is our agent who's manhandling a dog trying to catch it. Did the owners at least have the courtesy to apologize for forgetting about their dogs not being off the property?
They actually, I'm not sure they even knew that I talked to the other agent and let her know what was going on. But whether she told the sellers or not, I don't know. But no apology. I was surprised they didn't at least put him in a kennel or something, knowing that we were going to be there.
Well, I mean, that's common courtesy because truly, if you're not a dog person, dogs can sense that, and you might wind up with a liability situation on your property. So if you're the one selling the house, put the dogs up if somebody's coming. And if you didn't know they were coming, your agent should have told you, because I know you had an appointment for the final walkthrough because you had people on Zoom for it.
That's right.
Oh. All right. So what would you do differently next time if you pull up and there's two dogs come out of the detached garage at you, Janet?
I probably wouldn't do anything different. I don't know what else you could do. Call the SPCA or.
I mean, that's a brave soul. And I'm sure that a lot of y'all out there in Janet's camp, you're like, I'm with Janet, let's catch the dogs. And some of y'all are in the Leigh Brown camp of, getting back in the car and waiting it out. I guess there's only two kinds of agents then, the one that will let the dogs bully them around and the ones who control the dogs. And congratulations, Janet, you're a dog controller. And did they love the house after they got there with their dogs and 3 cats?
They did.
I'd say that's the hardest part about moving somebody in is that, are they really going to love it when they get here? It's hard.
Right. Well, they were here physically when we first saw it and when we wrote the offer up and everything. Well, and then have gone back to California, and then we're making this final trip.
I mean, that was the hardest part about doing business during the COVID, was when you wrote an offer to somebody who'd only seen it on technology. That was nerve-wracking.
It was. I had a couple of those too that just saw it on FaceTime or something. But when I did that, I'd always say, I'd move the camera around so that they could see up and down and point things out. And is there anything else you want to look at? And that sort of thing. So luckily, everyone loved the house once they got there.
So tell us the best part about living in Chattanooga since you've moved there as a grandma, and now you're a scout leader and you're in real estate. You're seeing real estate in a different place. What's the best thing about your town?
I'd say the outdoors.
Oh, yeah? What part?
if people are into rock climbing, there's a lot of opportunity for that. Hang gliding off of Lookout Mountain. We've got the national park, from the Chickamauga, which also has parts on Lookout Mountain and Signal Mountain, and a lot of history from the Civil War. And just very friendly people.
Okay, so you're near Chickamauga. That is a pretty fascinating battle, and so is Lookout Mountain. It's one of the saddest battles from the Civil War. And if y'all aren't history and war nerds, you should go read about it because it's kind of sad, and it's also a sign of how much people really believed in their cause back then. Coming from Wisconsin, which fought for the Union, moving to Tennessee, which obviously was part of the Southern states. What was it like to go from an area that probably doesn't talk about the Civil War a lot to an area where it's pretty much alive right now when you look at the number of historic opportunities to learn around you?
Well, I don't think a lot of people in Wisconsin know a whole lot about the Civil War, about the battles and that sort of thing, but definitely participated. And interestingly enough, the stadium at the University of Wisconsin, Camp Randall, was a Civil War place where they held Southern prisoners.
I didn't know that. I got to go do some research. My nerd side just flared up. So was it interesting to you to see history taught in different ways and experienced in different ways when you came, or did you really not notice it very much?
Good question. I didn't really. Well, I mean, I think in Wisconsin, a lot of people felt like, hey, we're not prejudiced here. It's just those Southerners who are. And I found that totally wrong. I found a lot of people had their prejudices regardless.
I think that's just called the human heart, which is not a perfect invention. Well, good. Well, Janet, if somebody wants to reach out to you about Chattanooga, Tennessee and real estate, or they want to ask if they should be a Girl Scout leader and they just want to know more about everything that you're doing in the world, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, I am on Facebook. My personal page is janet.king.johnson. And I also have a business page, and I believe it's Janet Sells Chattanooga. I never have to use it because it always logs me on the right place. And, you can also reach me at Keller Williams, the East office.
And we'll have all of those links in the show notes for this episode. So the rest of y'all who are sitting there thinking, I don't know the name of my Facebook business page either, that's fine. We'll have all of Janet's links. So you can go follow her and ask any questions and learn how to make friends with another realtor in the business. Janet, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us a little dog perspective for the day.
Thank you for the opportunity. I enjoy your podcast every day. So
well, now you can listen and tell all your clients and friends to tell you if they are the dog wrangler or the dog hider. So they all going to have to pick a camp. So y'all pick a camp in the comments below. Hit the bell to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks.
By the way, friends, don't miss my brand new coaching program at answers.realestate, where you can have access to Leigh Brown, submit your questions, have them answered, meet like-minded professionals, have an entire library to help you build your business no matter what happens in the market. Get signed up today. I promise you'll be glad you did. As always, I'm so super thrilled that you joined in for more crazy shit. And if you're a realtor, investor, inspector, lender, or just a regular human being who happens to have an unbelievable story that you need to tell the world about, or frankly, you just need to one-up the story you just heard, then make sure to DM me on Instagram at Leigh Thomas Brown, or tweet me at Leigh Brown, or frankly, any social network where you hang out. I'm there. And if you had some fun, then you totally want to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes.